Today we'll canvass the topic of grandparents and the Family Law Act. Before we start, I wish to introduce myself a little. My name is Belinda Jeffrey. I'm associate with Michael Lynch Family Lawyers. I enjoy the challenge of solving a problem and navigating a party to reach a resolution, hopefully one that allows them to move on into the next step of their life. In this area of law, it's usually when I'm meeting clients at a very hard time in their life, so it gives me satisfaction that I can provide that assistance. Today I'm joined with my colleague Tiela Morrison.
I'm a solicitor at Michael Lynch Family Lawyers, and like Belinda, I practice exclusively in family law. It's an area that I'm very passionate about. We see a variety of clients, including separated parents, but also grandparents. So I'm pleased to discuss the topic of grandparents with Belinda today.
Grandparents, we call them Nana, Nonna, Poppy, Pappy, Lola, Opa, whatever you call them in your family. There's no denying that they're very important people in a family unit. So when there's a breakdown of relationship between parents, and there's going to be flow-on effects that will affect a grandparent. So it's understandable that they're anxious and worried about their relationship with their grandchild or grandchildren and being prevented from spending time with that grandchild or grandchildren. It's important that they think about coming and talking to us at that time rather than seeking the counsel of a friend and being misinformed.
There are various scenarios where a grandparent should seek legal advice from us, including where parents are separated and they're preventing the child or children from spending time with the grandparents, and also where the parents are still together and they're preventing the child from spending time with the grandparents. There are also unfortunate circumstances where one parent has passed away and the living parent is preventing the child from spending time with the grandparents. There's also the scenario where the child may be at risk of family violence or abuse and neglect, and the grandparent is concerned for the child's welfare. We always advise the grandparents that they need to keep in mind that the child's best interest is the most important consideration.
That's exactly it. Best interest is what underpins the family law legislation. The family law legislation says that a child has the right to have a meaningful relationship with a person who has an interest in their care, welfare and development. A grandparent is a specific class set out in the Family Law Act who can apply for a parenting order in relation to a child. It must be remembered though, it always comes back to what's in that child's best interests.
I often advise clients that the first step they should consider when trying to negotiate an outcome between parents and grandparents is to just have a simple discussion between themselves if they're amicable enough to do so. They should discuss what the arrangements for the children should look like moving forward. Parents often don't know how the grandparents are feeling and vice versa, so this is an important first step.
That's really important information you just said. Having that discussion allows an opportunity to understand. The grandparent should think about before that discussion what arrangements they would like to ask the parent in relation to the grandchild or grandchildren. The sorts of options that might include is time on a weekday, so if the child is attending school, whether that would be before or after school care, whether that would involve taking them to an extracurricular activity and being involved in that, whether that time's going to be on a weekend, school holiday, special occasions, the birthdays and the Christmas and the Easter time, or on block holiday periods. Regard should also be had to arrangements about communication, so sending of cards and gifts and how that will be received by the child, and also arranging FaceTime and Skype calls, which I think with this pandemic has become increasingly important.
If the grandparents and parents need help with the conversation, they can engage an independent person called a mediator through a process called family dispute resolution, commonly referred to as mediation. The parties can engage government-funded organisations such as Relationships Australia or family relationship centres. The process of mediation involves parties having a discussion and making a genuine effort to resolve the issues in dispute. If this has occurred and agreement is not reached, the parties will receive what's called a Section 60I certificate, which either party can use to apply to the court if necessary for a parenting order.
They'll be given that certificate, and whilst they can then take it off to court. It doesn't mean that they have to go down the path of court litigation. At that juncture, if the grandparent hasn't had legal advice, it's really important they do seek legal advice at that point. We might be able to assist them with negotiating an arrangement. Maybe it was misunderstood or not explained properly. We could assist with reaching that agreement and then documenting it in a way so that both parties understands the terms of what they've agreed. Failing that though, then they can have an initial appointment to discuss prospects of their case with someone who's specialised in that area.
The initial consultation will involve discussing a variety of matters, including your court options, your prospects, and also costs. For the purposes of court, the initial step is to prepare an initiating application, affidavit, and notice of risk document. It's important to remember though that even if you're in the court process, the parties can reach agreement along at any stage of the process. As to prospects, it will depend on the circumstances of the case, as every matter is different.
And that's exactly it. It always has to be brought into mind that it's about the best interests of the child. There'll be expert evidence that it's sought by the court to understand the child's best interests, but always focused on what will achieve their best interests. If you were spending time with your grandchild or grandchildren prior to the separation between the parents, then there's good prospects that a court will find that meaningful relationship should continue. But again, I'd stress the importance of getting advice to understand the prospects of your case.
I agree, Belinda. And if you'd like further information from us, please don't hesitate to contact us on our details below. We're happy to give you tailored advice to suit your circumstances. Thank you for joining us today.
We appreciate your time.